Okay, welcome back to No Strings Attached Homeless Ministry. We've got our little stove. What I'm going to be doing is actually starting this stove and showing you a quick preparation of a meal. We're going to have rice, red beans and rice, which I showed you in the last video. Was the kinds of foods that I supply for them, and also a can of green beans. And I'll show you how you can easily cook this. Now the method of this is what we try to do is we try to teach them to cook sanitary. What I mean by sanitary is when you cook sanitary, you don't have to worry about cleanup or anything else. Basically, like I said, all they're going to do is just boil water. So that makes a whole lot of difference for them. That way they don't have to struggle in doing different tasks. They don't have to worry about cleanup. All they just do is throw it away. The only thing really is they'll have to clean up is the spoon or the fork that they use to actually the spoon or the fork that they actually use to actually eat with, which is very simple. You can just wish it around in a little bit of the extra hot water that you may have, and it's pretty much good to go. There's not a lot to it. Really don't even really need any soap per se. If they wash it off with water good enough. Okay, we've got our little fire started now. All this little twigs here is pretty much all you would ever need, to cook a meal. You'd be surprised on just how little that you actually have to have. There's not a lot of waste. Pretty much got a good fire going there. And once this actually gets started, the smoke will actually even go down even farther. It'll actually dissipate a lot better. Now a lot of this smoke that you see right now is where everything is really wet. And you see how your pan actually sit right on top of your fire in your stove. And this here will get hot enough to boil the water. So that's pretty much all you need. Now, I only have a little bit of water in there. I forgot to bring some water with me today. So I just used a little bit of water from the spigot over, and it was broken, so it was hard to get some out of it. But we've got about half a pot here. And you'll just let this continue to build, and you want to keep this going. Let's see, it's a safe, contained fire. That way they can control it and not get out of hand. Even in a no-burn zone, it's very safe. For if they have to do this quietly, and then they can allow that to happen. But yeah, we've got good fire in there now, so it should start heating this water up here pretty good. Well, this was ice cold water coming out of that water fountain, so it'll probably take a little bit of time to actually get it hot. Now what you do with this here is when you prepare this, and what I teach them is to actually take this. Here's a spoon. you actually take this and you'll just open the top, the very top, very gently. And so you don't mess up your pot. All you do is pour your hot water into here. This is a Mylar bag, so it's waterproof. It will handle the heat of the water. And when you get the water in there, then you'll take your spoon and you'll stir it up. And a lot of your prepaid, your prepackaged foods like Mountain House will have some meals like this that you could actually buy. Different products out there that do have those. A lot of your dehydrated, backpack type meals also have this ability. You can do the same in those bags too. And you just take this and you fill the water up in here, stir it around, then you reseal this bag and you fold the top over and you let it sit for about 2 minutes past its normal cooking time, and that'll give you enough. It should be soft enough where you're going to be able to eat it and actually have a good meal. At that point there, this here will actually fill you up pretty good. That's quite a bit of food, believe it or not. Yeah, this wood here is just so wet. It's still having a hard time, but it's still cooking. So let's put a few more chunks of wood down in here, stoke it a little bit. Put a good little fire going there. But believe it or not, this little fire will last pretty good. Now, you notice I left the lid off as I'm boiling my water. This gives it a lot more heat on the bottom of the pan, and will actually heat this pan up pretty good, pretty quick. When you want to use that, either you can take these, barely crack it open, set this in this pan here and allow it to steam and allow it to start to get this hot. If you still have some water, the boiling water will actually transfer into here. Or you can't even remove this, lay the lid on there and do the same thing here. You can put it right on that lid and it will hold, and then that way they can actually cook it right in the can. They don't even have to worry about that. The only thing that they'll do is they'll actually end up peeling the peeling off. And once they clean this peeling off, then the paper's not there, so it's nothing to worry about it catching on fire. But a lot of them will use just the paper around their cans to actually be their starter for the morning fire. But it's heating up pretty good. I always have a pair of pliers. I forgot to get a rag or anything to be able to handle anything that I might need. Shouldn't really have to, as long as it's on a nice stable surface. You should be pretty close and pretty fine. But this here is this here is what they call a hobo stove. It's my version of the hobo stove. There is some a little bit more complicated versions out there to build, but I tried to reduce it down to where it was simple enough to where anyone can build one with just a can opener. And you can even do this without the can opener. If you have one of the little ones from the military to where you can cut the lid off, you can also do it that way too, to get the lid off. But this is what I usually have. I usually buy about a dozen of these and keep them just in case they don't have one, but most of the boys out there do have that. Then also you have a punch pull off the top of this here too, so you could actually even just use this one. But these are something that go along pretty good. That's probably a very nice one. This one here is one from that I actually got from home. But you can buy these at the dollar stores and stuff, and be able to do pretty good with that also. But the water's actually getting pretty warm right now. me just check my time on the video. If it's not too much longer, I mean, I will go on and restart this after it gets done boiling. Let me just check to see. Okay, it seemed like it's running pretty low, so I'm going to have to restart this.